Hello, everyone. This week's theme for Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month is inclusion. So, we're going to be reading a few books about how important it is to make sure everybody feels included. So, this one is called Fast Friends, and it's by Heather M. O'Connor, and it's illustrated by Claudia Davila. Tyson did everything fast. He printed fast, he moved fast, he ate fast. It sometimes made him knock over his chair or the red paint or the kids in his class. His teacher was always saying, "Too fast, Tyson." Recess was different. Tyson could jump and climb and speed race around the schoolyard speedy quick. But he couldn't go outside until everyone was ready. Every day Tyson had to wait and wait and wait. Some days he'd say, "Hurry up." Those days, Tyson played alone. One day, a new kid joined the class. "This is Susie," said the teacher. Susie didn't say hello. She didn't smile. She didn't even look at anyone. But she did look at the race car picture hanging on the wall. Tyson saw her. The car was red and shiny, just like her chair, and the driver wore a crash helmet, just like Susie. At lunch, Tyson finished speedy quick. But Susie ate her lunch through a tube, so she was even faster. When Tyson reached for his favorite book, Susie already had her eye on it. "Want to read?" he asked. When it was time to go outside, the teacher picked Raph to walk with Susie, even though Tyson's hand shot up first. "Be careful, Raph. Walk slowly," said the teacher. Raph did. So slowly that Susie took a snooze. The next day, Tyson read to Susie again. This time the teacher picked Lisa to walk with Susie. Lisa watched the big kids play ball. Susie didn't. On his way home after school, Tyson heard beep beep coming through. He jumped out of the way. A shiny red chair whizzed by, speedy quick. It was Susie. A big girl was pushing her. "Coming through," she shouted again. Tyson caught up with them at the park. He climbed on the swing beside Susie. "Race you!" He pumped as hard as he could. "Want to go fast, Susie?" asked the big girl. Susie waved her arms. "Faster?" Susie smiled, big and wide. When Susie and Tyson were all tuckered out, the big girl said, "Time to get my sister home. See ya, Speedy." She zipped off with Susie, shouting, "Beep, beep." The next day at recess, Tyson's hand was up in a flash. "Can I play with Susie?" The teacher wore his frowny face. "Okay, Tyson, but be careful." Tyson would be careful, but he would be speedy quick too. "Start your engines, Susie," and he raced her around the schoolyard. Susie and Tyson zigzagged past the teachers on yard duty. "Beep, beep." The teacher shouted, "Too fast, Tyson, slow down." They rushed after Susie and Tyson. Susie and Tyson raced past the kids in their class. "Beep, beep." The kids stopped playing and they ran after Susie and Tyson too. Susie and Tyson cut through the basketball court. "Coming through." The basketball players stopped shooting hoops and started chasing Susie and Tyson. Then Tyson and the teachers and the kids and the basketball players all heard a new sound, one they never heard before. It was Susie. She was waving her arms and laughing. Great big happy belly laughs. Tyson grinned. He wasn't too fast. He was speedy quick. And that was just fast enough. Oh, such a beautiful story. This one is also wonderful, and it's called Aaron Slater Illustrator, and it's by Andrea Beatty and illustrated by David Roberts. At the end of the garden, in the soft fading light, when the day turns to dusk and the dusk into night, the sweet scent of jasmine floats into the air to mix with the music of laughter, and there, Aaron D. Slater soaks it all in with his flowery blanket tucked under his chin. Words drift like music, melodious, mild, a sweet summer song for a sweet summer child who drifts off to sleep as the cottonwoods sway at the end of the garden at the end of the day. It's summer, then summer, and summer once more, and soon Aaron D. is a youngster of 4. The jasmine climbs higher, the roses have grown, and Aaron himself has a spot of his own for seedlings and saplings beside the slate walk, which he illustrates daily with a bucket of chalk. But what he loves most, what makes Aaron's heart sing, is to listen to books in the old garden swing, to write stories he thinks is the greatest of things. But first he must read. It's the best place to start, and young Aaron wants to with all of his heart. But the words are just squiggles, and try though he might, even with help, Aaron can't get it right. Why can't I do it? Why is it so hard? He goes back to drawing on slate in the yard. It's school time at last in his sunflower socks and poppy red jacket with matching lunchbox. He marches to class with a teacher's bouquet, ready to read by the end of the day. But he doesn't that day, or the month, or that year, and though he makes progress, it's painfully clear he'll never quite get it like all of his friends. Since he'll never stand out, he decides to blend in. And so here he is at the start of grade 2 in his simple white t-shirt and matching white shoes. He tries to keep up, to blend in, and to hide the tangle of feelings he carries inside. At first it goes well, since his teacher is new and a bit overwhelmed by the hullabaloo. But things settle down and Miss Greer finds her stride, and once she gets rolling, there's no place to hide. Class, she says, here's an assignment for you. Write me a story. Write something true. And so Aaron does what young Aaron must do. He works on his story like the rest of grade 2. He writes through the evening. He writes through the night. He writes and he writes till the dawn's early light. Then he drags off to school with his shoes filled with lead and his stomach in knots and a pain in his head. And he waits for his turn with his heart filled with dread. Miss Greer calls his name, and Aaron D. stands and unfolds the sheet in his trembling hands. And he reads while he tries, but it's so hard to start, with 33 eyes peering into his heart. So so, he stares at his shoes and his sunflower socks. Then he closes his eyes, and then young Aaron talks. Once there was a flower. No, wait, I know. Once there was a magical flower which gave all who held it extraordinary power. And so begins the most perfect of tales of an imperfect hero whose courage fails. When the day turns to dusk and the dusk into night, and the moon rises high and the dragon takes flight. And who learns, after all, in the wee morning hours, strength comes from the heart and not from magical flowers. The beauty and kindness and loving and art lend courage to all with a welcoming heart. And when the quest ends and the sweet flower dies, the students all gasp, and Miss Lila Greer cries. The silence that follows rattles his heart. He tries to say something, but where could he start? He turns in a paper with no words at all, then blinks back a tear and escapes to the hall, where Miss Lila finds him by the slate-colored wall. Time stops for them both, the teacher and boy. His heart fills with anguish, and hers fills with joy at the soul of this artist, courageous and true. She smiles and whispers, "Aaron, thank you." When she leaves, Aaron stands there a very long while. Then slowly, so slowly, he begins to smile. And he feels like he does with those books in the swing, as a new hope inside starts to make his heart sing. He knows he can do the greatest of things in a way that's his own, in a way that's just his. He can stand out and show the world who he is. Like the mightiest flames that banish the dark, hope grows in the soul from the tiniest spark. His art makes the difference. His art leads the way and helps him discover what he wants to say. And his reading gets better. Of course, it's still tough, but each day that they work is a little less rough. Like all imperfect heroes at the start of a quest, he must do what he can and hope for the best. Now in the hallway, a new garden grows, with jasmine and poppies, a rambling rose. Books, art, and music, a dragon or two, who soar through a sky of delphinium blue. The art tells a story, melodious, wild, furious, fragrant, wonderful, wild. It's all from the heart, and all of it's true, for Aaron, Miss Greer, and the kids of grade 2. It's a place full of beauty, for one and for all, the illustrator's garden at the end of the hall. So that's a beautiful story and absolutely perfect for Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month, along with our first story, which focused on making sure that everyone feels included, and there's a special friend out there for everybody, isn't there? I hope you enjoyed this story time, and I will post an activity below this in my blog. Thanks, guys. Bye.